action.
The idea of Highway 13 came back in the 1970s when I used to head up to Wasaga Beach. We would travel down this highway that had trees on both sides. And back in the 70s, there was no cell phones, there was nothing like that, and we were always worried, what would ever happen if our car broke down in the middle of this highway?
I've seen a lot of scary movies. I know what happens to girls who get out of cars in the middle of the night on lonely highways. Glenda, the reason that she is so empathetic, she sees another woman in trouble and wants to help her. I mean, you know, I wasn't playing this at the time, but maybe she sees a bit of herself in this woman.
That's good. That was good.
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
Energy that all the crew and the other actors were giving off. I couldn't believe how creative the whole atmosphere of the film felt. It was really, really neat.
All right, standing by. All right, quiet on set, please. Roll camera, roll sound. Cut. That's a cut. Let's do this one more time.
The 1960s style really kind of came from like a real late 1960s vibe, even though we were going for an early 60s vibe. My inspiration actually came from the car that we used.
You know, I could have put it in the 1970s or the 1950s or the whatever it was, but here I am sitting with my own personal car, the 1962 T-Bird, and I said, okay, if I put it in the 1960s, to put the characters in a dilemma where there's no escape.
2, 1, lift.
The skepticism and the craziness of the situation really leaves Alex open to all of the paranormal, otherworldly things that start to happen around, because I mean he's ready for the worst.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's really good, actually.
I love that.
Yeah.
I didn't do a casting call. I already kind of knew who my actors were going to portray the characters in Highway 13. And I wrote those characters with those actors in mind. I'd actually had seen Emma in another television series that I produced in a film called Credo. And I wrote Glenda specifically for Emma, even though I'd never met Emma.
I always like to get onto a set and get to know everyone and try to just like mesh with everyone pretty quickly and feel like a team.
I never knew Diane either, and I was looking for an older woman that had long hair that can kind of come out of the wood, that looked kind of back in the 1940s even. And I knew that makeup and certain things we could enhance that, but I wanted some real natural abilities.
I love playing demons. This is my third time in a movie, in a film, playing the demon. So, hey, it was right up my alley. I'm hoping to get typecast.
I was immediately intrigued by the film because the story was just a really good story. And then he started saying, you know, I feel there's like something missing. You know, it's like that last piece of the puzzle. And he started saying, what do you think about this character? And he started talking to me about Ruby, and I just fell in love with her right away. The more and more I worked on her character, the more these things just kind of grew on me and came out instinctively. And I just had a lot of fun with this character. You know, working with George Scandalis, who brought Frank to the table. There was just this magic.
Any role any actor ever does that doesn't have a few elements of yourself in there. So as much as I want to say that I'm completely not Frank, I'm sure there's parts of me that are. What am I going to do with this character to actually make him unique, to give him a spot in this film that's his own, that's unique? And I really didn't know what that was going to be until we actually got into wardrobe. So I had a few different costume options and I sent them to the wardrobe team and they said, yep, that's the one. And we kind of gave Frank and his co-star, his love, on-screen love, Ruby Rowan, this kind of 1990s rock star, pop star mixed with, you know, current day celebrityism. So she had a very Madonna-esque bedtime stories look, and he had this kind of modern day Axl Rose rock star over the top kind of look. So we didn't know what was going to happen.
I kind of wanted to collaborate with the actors and make sure that they were comfortable wearing what they wanted to wear and that they were warm because it was really cold. But I liked the look of the cold, creepy, wet atmosphere. And when everybody talks, you can see the moisture exhale from their mouths, and that looks pretty cool.
The red car standing out from the rest of the dark, cool moonlight attracted me to the idea. I'm like, okay, because that's like a strong visual.
We used our cars as warm-up places.
I want to be able to promote and showcase what Alberta can do in the film industry. Highway 13 exists in Alberta. It really does. And who knows what could happen economically with people coming here to visit the haunted highway.
Working with Stan is a great experience because he trusts you. There's that trust.
That's really good.
You're going to be able to pull it off, and he also is like really supportive of your ideas, allows you to kind of like come up with something and add something to the film.
Filming a pretty big short film in the midst of a pandemic, I'd say is a big accomplishment in itself.
As you see, I have my mask on, which I'm actually really grateful for. It's because we're shooting outside at night. It keeps my face really warm, which is nice. It's like I'm wearing a scarf the whole time. So
Hours would go by, and then your mask would start to like freeze.
Because of the restrictions, we actually got closer. And the fact that we could put this together and the team, the amazing team that was working on this on the production side.
Rolling.
Coming to Alberta specifically to help us with some visual effects that we're going to include in here.
Highway 13 was shot in Edmonton, but all the visual effects scene were shot here in Toronto. He would send me the footage from there, and then the footage from here was superimposed on some scenes, and it was quite rewarding and lots of fun.
All these people kind of like coming together and pulling off this this cool visual that I'm really happy with.
When I created Highway 13 and I wrote the screenplay and I visualized everything, the most important element was the sound. The visuals are scary, but the sound makes it even scarier.
The main elements of the movie, like characters, sensations, emotions, locations, have their own musical theme, and we connect them along the movie with different variations.
So one of my characters is Ruby Rowan, a social media star. And what is one of Joe Thistle's track? Run, Ruby, run. And it's like a foreshadow to tell her, run, Ruby, don't go down this highway. So it had to be part of it.
Run, Ruby, run. Life is nipping at your heels, but you're just as young as you feel, so run. Run, Ruby, run. Highway 13, everybody, don't miss it.